Today, let me introduce you to Phil. Phil is what you would call a traditionalist indie filmmaker. In other words, he does things the way they've always been done, by the book. Out of school, Phil's first order of business is to get started on his debut feature. It's a drama with a few comedic twists in the style of the Coen brothers. Phil's been working on the script for years, and it's a story he really cares about. Phil sets his sights high. He wants to raise $750,000 for the film and really do it right. After all, this thing is going to be his big break. Phil's first order of business is to raise money for the film. First, he connects with some local investors. No one seems keen to invest despite his rosy revenue projections. He even takes a swig at the old talk to the doctors and dentists approach, trying to get them excited about participating in the show business. No dice. No worries though. Phil takes his project to Kickstarter. He even lowers the budget to $125,000 and the campaign goes to $50,000. So it's more of a sure bet. 30 grueling days later, Phil's got just over 7,000 in donations, mostly from his parents, friends and one random uncle. The campaign fails and he gets none of it. But Phil knows he has to make his movie, come hell or high water. It's all he's wanted to do since he was a kid, making shorts on his dad's camcorder. So he rewrites the script to be easier to produce. He slashes the budget further and commits to finance it himself, all his bartending tips and a few credit cards. He knows it's a sketchy proposition, but after hearing about his idols like Robert Rodriguez or Tarantino made their first films, he feels confident. If he can just get this film made do a decent job, it will lead to his big break. And besides, he'd never be able to live with himself if he gave up. So he gets some friends together, uses some old gear and makes a film. Luckily, Phil knows what he's doing behind the camera and can really stretch a dollar. Production goes smoothly, he gets solid performances, plenty of coverage, and the dailies look rad. After 8 months of non-stop work, he locked picture and sound and is ready for prime time. Even better, the film is legit good. Not perfect of course, but he's really proud of it. After a rough start, Phil's spirits are high. He feels like he's got a fighting chance. Now the real fun begins. As a traditionalist, Phil sets his sight on the festival circuit. Of course, he still meets all the big players first. Sundance, South by, Toronto, etc. 3 months later, rejection, all across the board. Still, Phil is undeterred. He puts together a hefty spreadsheet of mid-tier and niche festivals and throws a few $100s more on the old credit card in submission fees. At first, more rejections, but then acceptance. Just one at first, then another and another. Within 2 months, Phil got 12 festivals lined up and a world premiere at the Denver Film Festival. Not too shabby, he thinks to himself. Phil packs his nicest shirt, buys a plane ticket to Denver and grabs a hotel room for a couple of nights. All on the credit card, of course. I actually really like that Rob is so against credit cards and taking out loans for movies. Overall, I think it's a terrible business practice to start your business on credit and have to pay more. Especially credit cards with 18, sometimes even 20% at least here up in Canada. Whichever the case, it's better to be avoided. And I truly believe in living debt-free, and my family is on the journey to pay off all our debts. So I'm really happy that Rob mentions that and points back to it. Of course, it is possible that traditionalists would save up for a movie, but often that's not how it's done. Because in this kind of mindset, you do whatever it takes because your big break is coming. So so nobody thinks through that it will take long to pay off those credit cards, and it's shown that it's only temporary. So like before you turn around, you will have money from selling the film to pay it off. But that's not really how it works, and let's just get back to Phil. The premiere is one of the best nights of Phil's life. The crowd loves the film, he does an animated Q&A, and the after party is pure delight. He meets new filmmakers, an agent of two, and plenty of fans. He even chats with a distribution rep who dug the film. It wasn't a good film for their company, but still, Phil is stoked. Someone in the distro business liked his movie. It feels like progress. Still, despite a night he'll never forget and some new friends, Phil returns home with nothing to show business-wise. The cycle repeats at 3 more mid-tier festivals. It's a great experience, and he does get a few stray offers. But Phil knows enough to spot super predatory distro deals. He's no dummy, and he knows his film is worth more. So he holds out. It's been 11 months since he premiered the film, and Phil is getting a bit restless. But winter is full swing, so he packs his bags again and he heads to AFM in Santa Monica. The passes aren't cheap, but he's hell-bent on selling his film. This time, Phil is all business. He's meeting with legit distributors and sales agents left and right. Most are friendly, and they dig his trailer when he shows it. It reminds them of Fargo, they say, which makes Phil smile. But when asked about the potential show of a deal, they all say the same thing. We just can't sell a drama like this without any names attached. He also hears that you've gotta make genre films to have any shot at micro-budget success. Horror is especially hot at the moment, he's told. A handful of his meetings show promise though, but no immediate offers come out of them. He leaves feeling dejected, broken. In the weeks following AFM, however, Phil opens his email to find an offer. 10 years, global rights, no money up front. But it's a fair split, with relatively low cap on expenses. When he calls the distributor, they sound excited and confident they'll do good business with this project, which puts him at ease. But they also make it clear that Phil's going to be doing bulk of marketing himself. It's not ideal, but it's better than all those other deals that came his way. If nothing else, Phil figures he'll at least be able to recoup the budget and pay down the credit cards. Phil signs his film over. In the coming months, Phil's film shows up on all sorts of major platforms. It's on iTunes, Amazon, Tubi, the works. He's thrilled. I'm so happy I discovered Film Hub through Jay Horton. He's a fan of it too, because it lets filmmakers show the movie straight to the Amazon, Netflix, Tubi. I'm really excited that it's so possible right now, and that's definitely the way I'm going to try when I will make a feature film. So I'm happy it's becoming, the film structure is becoming less and less dependent on distributors. He feels like he's finally made it, seeing his film up on those platforms, right next to the big dogs. And he's enthusiastic to spread the word. At first, he posts a bunch on social media, shares his numerous filmmaking groups, and gets on a podcast or two. He emails a bunch of indie film review sites, and though most ignore him, Phil gets a handful of nice reviews. But after a few weeks, Phil notices no one seems to be interacting with his social media posts anymore. It feels like he's shouting into the void. Phil decides to get serious with his marketing. He'd been hearing about Facebook ads for years now and takes the plunge. It starts with a few bucks, then a few hundred, on the credit card of course. Phil has no idea if those efforts are working, however. He won't see any reports or money for at least another quarter. But people are interacting with his ads and clicking through to Amazon. He feels a twinge of hope. But when those reports finally come, Phil nearly breaks down in tears. Despite all his work, and despite the film grossing $18,000 in total revenue, He's not seeing any of it. This distributor expensed it all. After being assured by his distributor this is normal for the first report, Phil gets back to marketing, albeit half-heartedly, but deep down he knows there's something wrong. After the next two quarterly reports, which came with lower revenue, all eaten up by expenses, Phil knows he's been duped. All told, it's been 3 years since Phil embarked on his film. He's exhausted. Phil hasn't seen a dime from the project and his credit card statements are piling up. Luckily, along the way, Phil got a job working in corporate communications. Basically, he makes training videos and writes the occasional press release. It's dull work, but the money is good and he has to pay down his debt. Besides, this isn't the end of Phil's film journey, far from it. In his spare time, he's writing another feature. This one is bigger than before, written to attract A-list talent. And it's a genre film, which the reps at AFM assured would be far easier to sell. Granted, his heart's not really in the genre, but all Phil wants is to make a living with indie films. And if this is how he's gotta do it, so be it. But just like his first feature, the financing isn't coming through. And no matter how many agents he emails, he can't get a script in front of any high-profile actors. It's dead end after a dead end. And it's starting to feel like the only way his film will get made is if he takes the same route as before, funding it himself. 5 years on after embarking on this journey, he is burnt out, disheartened. Phil is no closer to making a living with his feature films than the day he started. That's where we'll leave off the story. Tomorrow we'll look at a different path, the filmpreneur path. Tomorrow you'll meet Andrea. Till then, Rob, that was depressing, Harry. Yes, did you see any of your own journey in Phil's story? Comment below to share what stood out the most. I did waste few years trying to do the traditionalist path, but thankfully I didn't go into debt for, don't know. I did get into a little bit of debt for my short film Skipping Tomorrows. I think I got out of it pretty quickly though. Like paying it off, I didn't earn anything from the short film. But yeah, that was my calling card. I'm not sure if it's still being used so much that all you need to make short films as calling cards, but that was really one of the most repeated sentiments, like those 15 years ago, 10 years ago even, when I was still trying to figure out how filmmaking works. And I know that I did, but I think many people also follow the traditionalist path because they're looking for a easy way to follow and just easy, simple even if it's hard, just to follow, that you know precise steps that you need to do, and that then you will end up being a successful filmmaker. So that definitely was my mindset at the beginning, and I was just so frustrated that I did make those calling cards. I even met with a local TV station to kind of talk about sponsorship for turning the Skipping Tomorrows into a feature, but that didn't go anywhere. Anyway, that was kind of the turning point for me, that I really need to figure out different ways to make movies. So this email series was one of the paths that I explored on my search to figuring out how can I make movies. So I'm very happy that I got to resurrect this series, and I will see you next week. Thank you for watching.